PJ Zuko fired up.
About everything.
You're not on Mondays. It's your day of rest. Because my man's talking NASCAR on Sundays.
Try to be.
It is your day of rest.
Yeah.
And so, man, PJ Zuko is fired up here to talk some college football. Listen, we're back on Facebook.
Let's go.
Facebook is back. Rumors of its demise were greatly exaggerated.
Absolutely.
Even though the impact to Mark Zuckerberg's wallet have not been greatly exaggerated. $6 billion. Good night.
That's rough. Did y'all's Vine come back up? Because mine, thankfully,
Vine's still dead.
Oh, I checked it. I thought it was working
fine. TikTok?
Oh no, I don't know. I was just messing around.
Yeah, Vine's been dead. PJ, R.I.P.
Bad joke.
Hey, look, you're a little rusty.
Too soon. Still,
you've been off. You've been off for a day. We're back, and you got a big game coming up this weekend.
Oh yeah,
top 4 matchup.
Can't wait for that. That's gonna be
Penn State, Iowa, baby.
Wait till you guys hear this.
What? Oh God, what? Hear what?
So this is like the first time ever. I think I don't know. It might be.
No.
It's not 3:30. It's not 6:30.
It's not.
Right. It's at 4.
Yes, sir.
Kickoff's at 4.
You know what they're hoping for? Is they moved it to 4. I guarantee you this is the reason. They're hoping it's the same scenario as last week, where the 3:30 CBS game that everybody's watching is already over.
Yeah, it gets over. Yeah,
in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? They're hoping that Georgia Auburn's 21-0, and everyone will just be like, "All right, that's over. Let's go watch Penn State Iowa."
So true. Yeah, and then all of a sudden your game becomes like insanely better than it would have in the first place. But
I think a battle of what, 2 of the top 10, 5
2
defenses?
top 5 teams. Yeah.
Defenses.
Defenses. Yeah, has to be. I mean,
at least top 10.
Yeah,
definitely top 5. Iowa's got one of the best defense. I'll say this: Iowa's got one of the best secondaries.
Yeah,
right.
In college football, Penn State's got one of the best defenses. Period. In college football.
So is this where game day
I'd
is?
agree. No.
What?
That's a whole nother talking point. But
where is game day?
Let me finish my thought though. I mean, like so Penn State Iowa's getting kicked off at 4 o'clock, right? Guess where your boy will be.
I mean, you're on a boat last weekend.
Yeah. No,
or 2 weekends ago.
The good thing is we got back in time before the game started. Well, no, that was Villanova. We actually didn't watch that. But
all right, hold on. Let me try to figure this out.
Yeah.
Saturday, 4 o'clock.
Saturday in the fall.
Oh no.
In the fall.
Oh no. I know what this is.
Yeah.
Cam, do you want to guess where PJ is going to be at 4 o'clock this Saturday? Over a top 4 matchup. This is bad.
It is because it's like it's something you talk about.
You're going to be at a damn wedding.
Yeah, I'm going to be.
My God.
Even worse than that, I'm going to be in a wedding.
Yeah,
so like, there's no checking your phone mid thing or anything like that. Check it right before and right after.
We're going to get you like an FBI Bluetooth headset, and so you can listen at least.
I can't wait. Just
put on the
because I mean,
no.
Like,
okay, so wait, no, hold on. Let's talk about this.
Right ear, I'll be.
No,
fine.
I was about to say. Let's talk about this. So I'm assuming you've already done a rehearsal.
No, rehearsals. Well, that's another thing, right? Rehearsals this Friday. I won't be there.
I think typically the groom's on the right.
Yes.
And so you will be standing on the right, facing in. So your right ear would then be away from the audience.
Exactly.
Are you the best man?
No.
So you're not responsible for rings.
Right.
You just have to stand there and smile.
Yep.
AirPod. We'll put. I know. Remember in high school when girls would put the makeup on their headphones so they couldn't see the headphones.
Wow.
We'll go to and if there's any ladies listening, or gentlemen who wear makeup, we could absolutely use help with this. I know we have a lot of TV people that listen.
For sure.
We need to get your correct skin tone of your ear, and we'll get that AirPod in there.
Yeah.
And we'll color it with that makeup.
All about it.
And you can listen. Who are the voices of Penn State?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, well, I mean, then you can listen to them, or you could just like on your phone, just have the Fox broadcast pulled up and just have it in your phone and have an AirPod in. So you got to make sure your AirPods don't die, because if your AirPods die, it's just going to revert back to phone audio. And so what you don't want is like, and now we will say our vows to each other. We're at the 10, touchdown, which would be outstanding.
Yeah, that would be incredible.
You probably don't want that.
Everyone, but
because I mean, could you think of a worse person in that situation to happen? I love Doug Johnson, but could you think of a worse play-by-play guy to have that happen with? Because Doug Johnson, no one gets louder.
No, and
is he going to be on that, or is he going to be on the
as excited as ever?
Is he going to be on the Texas broadcast?
He better not be in the Texas
broadcast.
And that's what I was going to tell you.
Is that where Big Noon? Is that where Big Noon Saturday is?
I think
because Big Noon Saturday is Fox's version of Game Day.
Yeah, that's.
But is that where they're going to be?
I can't imagine they would send Gus and. I can't imagine they'd send them
Gus Johnson. You
to
can't.
Oklahoma.
Well, that's what game day is.
I mean, game day is going to be there.
Yeah, but what about
most
Big
likely
Noon
Big Noon
Saturday?
Kickoff is going to be there because well, I don't know. It alternates, right? Is it Fox's broadcast this year, or is it ESPN's?
It's a Fox broadcast. That's why.
Well, there you go. Then yeah, they'll be there. But maybe it's like the okie doke where you have Big Noon Kickoff there. You have, leading up to your Fox game there at noon. But it's, oh, hey, by the way, it's our second tier broadcast team, our first tier broadcast teams. At the top 5 matchup in Iowa.
It could make it hard. Like if you're at the game and then going to broadcast. I know Herbstreit already did it. Like this past weekend, they were at Georgia and then broadcast at Georgia at noon.
Yeah,
that could be tough to get like their guys and then do their elite broadcast of a noon kick.
Yeah.
So I really hope you AirPod dies, and then Gus Johnson is just screaming at you.
That'd be incredible.
Wow, Penn State has a pick 6.
Well, I would be I'd be going crazy, but I would also like look up and chuckle and then get kicked out of the wedding.
Other thing you have to avoid is reactions.
Yeah.
So you can't look like super mad.
Right.
When your favorite quarterback, the most confident quarterback in college football, is a little overconfident.
Did you throw a favorite in there? Because couldn't be farther from the truth. Anyway.
But when you're the most confident quarterback in college football throws an interception to Iowa, which is going to happen.
Yeah, at least one.
If you want to prop bet, Iowa secondary is phenomenal, and they're ball hawks. And my man Sean Clifford likes to throw the football to the other team a little bit. So
he's already getting tuned up. I don't think he had thrown an interception this year, and then he threw one to Indiana last week.
Perfect. So he's ready.
Yeah.
Exactly. So there's going to be an interception this week.
So was this game supposed to be at 12?
I think the conversation was this was the best game in the Fox catalog, and they start putting those at noon. But you also have a game in Oklahoma and Texas that's always at noon.
Yeah, like that's going to kick off at noon no matter what.
So they're trying to spread out their viewership a little bit.
Because it says, the Big Noon Kickoff goes back on the road weeks 5 and 6. Michigan and Wisconsin was last week, but it says Penn State, Iowa at 4.
So there you go.
There you go.
Gus Johnson.
So you got Gus, baby.
Wow.
They're not there, and they're not going to be at the Texas State Fair.
Well, that's the interesting thing with them though too is like they'll have a team at the Texas State Fair. I'm sure like their game day, their quote unquote Big Noon Kickoff will be there, but that like Gus Johnson isn't on Big Noon Kickoff. I don't think so. That works out for them a little bit better than.
Moral of the story: we're going to get you some blush. We're going to put it on an AirPod.
I'm with it. Yeah.
You're going to stick it in your ear, and you're going to be listening to the game while this is all going on. I mean, I guess the positive thing is you're in the wedding, but typically the ceremony is 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Tops.
And these like love my boy and their relationship, everything. But as far as I know, this is not going to be an overly complicated wedding.
Sure. And then but you do have like post ceremony responsibilities where you have to like walk in with one of the bridesmaids into the reception.
Right.
And then you're not a best man, so you don't have to give a speech. So you're done.
Yeah.
After you walk in, you're done. So you can go hide in the corner and watch.
Exactly. Just sit up at
what
the table.
What time does this wedding kick off?
Are you ready?
4.
Are you ready to hear it?
Son of a gun.
4:00.
Who the hell does that? If your friend's listening to this right now, we got beef. If your friend's listening to this right now, where is this? Now you don't have to give me a city. Just give me like a vicinity.
Oh, it's local. It's local.
So they're in South Georgia.
Yeah.
Scheduling a wedding at 4:00 on a Saturday. The hell's wrong with you?
You're better than me. I'll be like, man, y'all.
There are 365 days. If you have to get married on a Saturday, there are 52 weeks in a year? Am I an idiot? It's 52, right?
Yeah, when it's not college football
52
season.
weeks in a year.
Yeah.
We get like minimum, we get 12 a year. We get 12 Saturdays a year to watch our team.
That's all we need.
We get 12. You pick one of the other 40 Saturdays.
Or pick a week when we're not playing somebody good.
Also, you're getting married in early October in South Georgia. Oh, it'll be fall. Will it?
It depends on the day.
No, it's gonna be 8. No. You all fell. You all fell for fake fall. Yeah. All of y'all fell for fake fall. I went out. I saw the not the plaid.
Hot, man.
Flannel.
The flannel. Yeah, I saw all the flannels out there.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the long sleeves and the jeans and the boots. You all fell for fake fall. Your boy hasn't been out of shorts except for when someone tells me I have to wear pants.
Right.
You fell for fake fall. Fall doesn't arrive until like mid-November in Georgia.
And that's if you're lucky. Yeah.
Right. It's going to be like 85 and muggy in the hottest part of the day.
Yeah. I can't wait.
What are y'all doing?
You're getting me even more amped. Yeah.
No, reschedule this thing. Reschedule this thing.
How do you feel about this though?
He can't say that.
In what manner?
He can't say that.
Manner?
He can't say how he.
No,
really
I'm saying
feels.
how you feel about this, about the game.
No, what if his boys listening? He can't talk about the wedding.
I will say,
about
like,
the game.
He's just gonna get a text like, "Don't worry about it."
Right. This is the one thing that can pull me out.
I won't.
Because like, this is the one thing that can pull me out. Because like, I don't know. I love weddings, dude.
Weddings
I
are
don't know
a good
how
time.
everyone else.
Weddings are a good
great
time. But PJ, if there's a wedding, and you know me, I know you're a Penn State fan.
I almost don't even want to check the score.
But let's
the
talk about this weekend. Let's talk about this weekend. Weddings are fun, but are weddings fun when you're sitting there thinking like, man, I could be watching Oklahoma, Texas right now.
Yeah.
Well, dude, that's the bummer. At that same time, I could have another screen watching Arkansas Ole Miss right now.
Right.
3:30, I could be watching Georgia Auburn.
Well, it depends. I don't know. It depends. Last year, my other buddy had a wedding on October 3rd.
What is wrong with your friends?
which was a Saturday. And although like it was I believe it was a fairly unimportant Saturday. Like there wasn't a lot of big games going on or anything like that.
We have learned the past 2 weeks there's no such thing.
Very true. Although I will say that was like one of the best weddings, if not the best wedding I've been to. So I had a great time there. And well, probably
I've never been to a wedding that was more fun than this past Saturday on my couch. Watching Oregon beat Stanford.
I've never been to a wedding.
Lose to Stanford, you mean?
Oh yeah, losing to Stanford. Thank you. Yeah, Cameron, that's a good thing. Don't worry about those.
Which can we point it out? Why is it always Stanford? Like Oregon loses to two teams, right? Arizona when they're bad, or Stanford, and that's it.
Teams have mental blocks against other teams.
It's insane.
Certain teams are just the bugaboos.
Oregon it up.
They did. They did exactly that. And see, that's what I'm worried about.
It's like Cam mentioned it this past weekend. And it almost happened. Is what is Oklahoma's? Kansas State.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. Weird. Coaches change, players change. Obviously, like Darren Sproles back in the day beat Oklahoma.
I get a very like 2012 Notre Dame vibe from Oklahoma this year. Like they're gonna win every game by 6 points, and then they're gonna get throttled in the playoff.
I think they're gonna drop too.
They're gonna lose some football games.
Yeah.
But moral of the story is, PJ's friends. Don't get mad at PJ because this isn't his opinion. This is my opinion. The hell you doing?
Yeah.
The hell you doing?
I appreciate you. I appreciate you because I mean, like you said, I can't say that.
No, you can't.
I can't.
But the hell are you doing? At least if you're gonna do it, like in the back of the wedding venue. What venue were you looking at here? Is it a barn, church, field?
I haven't been to it physically, but yeah, I'm not really sure.
All right, so I mean, if you're inside,
I'm not even gonna lie. I don't.
If you're inside, they could at least put
Pretty sure it's inside.
They could at least put a TV against the back wall, so everybody else looking forward will see you guys, but at least like the groomsmen can look back and see the game.
Yeah.
Over the wedding party.
Right.
It's ridiculous. This is why we need those Google glasses to go ahead and take the next step. So you can just be wearing glasses and watching the game, like in one of the lenses.
That'd be incredible.
We need that to go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and take the next step. I mean, we're going to talk some college football. We got to take a break because coming back next, going to catch up with Jeb Blazevich, former Georgia tight end. He's going to join the show, give us his thoughts on this offense. I mean, some absurd athletes playing tight end for Georgia right now. We'll talk to Jeb Blazevich about that. And then coming back, we'll finish wrapping up this weekend and take a look at some of the great games coming up that PJ won't be able to watch this Saturday. All that coming up right here on Second Down. helmet and played the tight end position in the not too distant past. Joining us here, Jeb Blazevich. Jeb, thanks for taking the time, man.
Thanks for having me on. Always fun time.
And man, just honestly a dream scenario start for Georgia. Undefeated, number 2 in the country, defense doing things we haven't seen done before in terms of numbers. I know you're an offensive guy, but to me, watching those games on Saturday, it's almost as much fun to watch the defense than it is to watch the offense.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't know as an offensive mind how you can scheme around the individual talent that Georgia has on defense. It is an absolutely scary matchup.
Okay, so this is an interesting perspective because you played against some pretty elite defensive lines in your day, i.e. the Alabamas and the Floridas and the Auburns that have put just multiple guys in the league. When you look at, so if you're a tight end going to play against that front seven where they can rotate 8 guys on the defensive line who are going to be a nightmare to try to block, in your mind, what would be the kind of strategy you would have to go with just to create any kind of space and any kind of time for your quarterback?
That's a great question. I think I'll use Auburn as the perfect example. They've always had one of the best defensive lines traditionally in the country. And when we were playing them, it was always trying to get to the edge. Let's use our speed to our advantage. Let's make sure we outflank them with whether it's motions or some sort of even true shift of we're starting in this formation, then everybody is shifting to another formation. Just trying to get them on their toes, get them moving around, and trying to create any sort of leverage where we could. It's rare that you're going to try to line up and out physical anybody and put more bodies and more gaps. I think they're really going to have to start to move around pre-snap and try to get creative with the leverage on the outside.
And I know everybody, whenever something goes wrong with the offense, they like to first blame the quarterback, well, maybe the coach and then the OC, and then the quarterback gets blamed. And then after that, it's always the offensive line's fault. But you were a pass catcher as well. How many times do we watch games and we think the quarterback's not doing his job, but in reality, sometimes teams just have guys that can't get open?
Yeah, that's a great point. It goes to scheme, it goes to individual talent, it goes to even who's healthy that week. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that we find out after the fact, but we would never know going into the game. And yeah, to your point, coverage sacks are a real thing, and it's something that we would talk about and we would track on our defensive side. Sometimes you just get a blanket put on top of you as a receiver. You can't get open. You're not winning the leverage battle. The routes that are being called aren't going to get you open. There's a million different reasons. But to your point, it's not always the quarterback finding that one person that's not even on his progression that we see on Saturdays as fans. A lot of the work has to be done by the backside receivers, by, of course, the offensive line blocking, but really the main receivers need to get open because that's where his eyes are going immediately. So if you're not getting a whole lot of time on offense as a quarterback, you need those first couple progressions to get open in a hurry.
Yeah, we're catching up with Jeb Blazevich here on ESPN Radio. And Jeb, sticking with that defense, I don't know that they've played an elite offense yet, and they've made some good offenses look really bad, i.e. Arkansas. I mean, you saw what they did to Texas A&M the week before, and then 0 points, and the furthest they got was Georgia's 34. But I know most Georgia fans out there, and as a former Georgia player, I know you're a Georgia fan now, there's a little bit of apprehension. You want to say that this defense is great and it can carry you to where the ultimate goal is at the end of the season, but I still think there are a couple of question marks, not necessarily in the play of the defense so far, just in you haven't seen them play a truly elite offense yet, and you might not until Atlanta.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And my championship run, we won the SEC championship and the Rose Bowl championship. I think that was the same kind of feeling where we kept playing teams and we said, oh, they're really not that good. They're really not that good. They're really not that good. And around this time, I think this will be one of those games where we start to know, oh, maybe Georgia just really is better than everybody. And it's not everybody else isn't a good team. It's just, hey, we're really the truth here on defense. I think the secondary is yet to be really tested. I think there's a lot of question marks. But this is one of those games where you're going into a very hostile environment, and it's going to show on Saturday. Is Georgia really all that, or have they just had a couple things go well their way?
Well, and JT Daniels apparently still dealing with that nagging injury and not throwing again today at practice. Looks like it could be Stetson Bennett going again for Georgia. He's a guy that's already beaten Auburn once in his career. He did it last year, that time at Sanford Stadium. But I wanted to ask you about this offense, and specifically coming off the Arkansas game. BJ Bennett always brings up Kirby Smart's record when Georgia rushes for over 200 yards, and it's elite. I don't know that he's lost more than 2 games, or I don't know that he's lost when Georgia's done that, but we see the run game, and we know Georgia wants to be a power running football team. Do you think that was more so what Arkansas was presenting and Georgia just took advantage of that? Or do you think we actually saw a culture shift this past weekend where Kirby Smart got into somebody's ear and said, listen, we got to start handing it to these backs?
Yeah, I think that's, again, a great question. It could be a lot of different factors. I definitely think JD being out, not that Stetson is not more than capable to be one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC. I think part of it, too, is, hey, you're going against Sam Pittman. And nothing is a bigger statement than running on your former offensive line coach to help establish that culture of physicality. I think there's a bunch of different things that play into it, but at the end of the day, Georgia is relying heavily on the running backs. They have the receiver talent. I think we still need to figure out how to use the wide receivers, but in terms of the tight ends and some of the creative ways that we can get ball players the ball, I think you're going to have to see them continue to explore that and continue to get the passing game cranked up, because running the ball all over teams is going to work, but later in the season, you're going to run into some defenses that are starting to look a lot more like yours, and they're not going to let that happen.
For sure. And sticking on that offensive side of the ball here with you, Jeb, you play tight end at Georgia, and there's just, I don't know that many teams, maybe outside of Miami, have the track record at tight end in college football history. I mean, just in the recent past, right? You've had yourself, Arthur Lynch, Orson Charles, you've had the Leonard Popes, the Randy McMichaels back in the past, Ben Watson, just retired from the league, right? Just elite tight ends after elite tight ends. Have we ever seen 2 physical freaks at tight end for Georgia like we have right now with Brock Bowers and Darnell Washington?
Not at all. And I mean, even throw Fitz in the mix, he is a huge blocking tight end. And I tell people all the time, I would not sniff the field if I was at Georgia today. The individual talent and how they're playing as a unit is absolutely amazing to watch. I'm in a big group text with a bunch of different tight ends, a lot of those that you just mentioned. And every Saturday it gets cranked up talking about how they're using our boys out there. So it's been really, really entertaining to watch. But even more importantly, I think it's really helped them win a lot of these games.
How backbreaking for a defense is that? I know, again, talking to Arthur Lynch here, not Arthur Lynch, sorry, Jeb Blazevich. We were just talking about all those old Georgia tight ends, man. I'm just going to start calling you Randy McMichael soon. Talking to Jeb Blazevich here, how backbreaking is it for a defense when you all of a sudden you have everything covered up on the outside and you're clogging up the run lanes, but then you get a tight end like yourself coming over the middle and you're like, all right, I'm one-on-one on a linebacker. That's got to be backbreaking, heartbreaking. Just throw your clipboard down for a defensive coordinator if you have all those options on offense.
Well, I think these tight ends, they're becoming a lot more specialized and a lot more threatening in the passing game. I think that's really the biggest matchup. You can go from, hey, we need a nickel in there to, all right, we need more of a outside linebacker that we're just shoving in the Mike spot to be able to take care of this guy. So you can't play with the same personnel, and you're having to guess on the strength of the offense that series based on the personnel that you have out there. You can't sub guys in when it's a pass versus a run, and it's just rare to see the athleticism evolve to the linebackers the same way that it's evolved to the tight ends, at least the individual talent that Georgia has. I think that's something where you're going to see a lot more of these really stout linebackers that can, again, block it and take on blocks the way that these tight ends are blocking, but also get into the pass game and their coverage. It's just hard to be a big physical linebacker and be able to fly around. And that's why you see the guys that can do it, they're usually going first round.
How big is it going to be when you do get a Kearis Jackson and you do get a Dominic Blaylock coming back full speed? Because I know right now, Kirby Smart said it repeatedly the past couple of weeks, you're rocking out with 3 wide receivers, 11 personnel pretty much on 90% of your plays right now. And every now and then you'll go 2 tight sets. But for the most part, Georgia's going with 3 wide receivers, and they have 6 healthy wide receivers right now. How big is it going to be to get a guy like Dominic Blaylock back and a Kearis Jackson?
Well, again, I think they need to continue to develop the passing game. The running game will get them far, and I think it'll get them to the dance. But if they were to go on and beat the Auburns in Jordan-Hare Stadium and win these big games, they're going to need to start to develop those guys, and they're going to need to start to have defenses respecting it. And right now you're just not seeing a whole lot of production Now, my hope is that, again, in some of the injuries and in some of the, we're going to withhold some of these things, some of the plays and more of the creative options. But I definitely think we need to get the ball into those playmakers' hands. It's just going to open up the running game even more once you start to stretch the field.
All right, you got Auburn coming up this weekend. Any special memories from you from that rivalry series?
Oh gosh, I think we beat them every single time except for one. So of course that's the only thing that stood out is just being in Jordan Hare having it absolutely rocking.
Oh, is that the dog crap comment?
Oh yeah, definitely. We didn't forget about that.
No,
we took care of that business when it mattered most. But that is a fun stadium to play in. Probably one of the worst visiting locker rooms in the SEC in my experience. So it's just going to be a fight by the time they get there until the time they leave.
Can Georgia go in with the same game plan they had this past weekend against Arkansas and win? Stetson Bennett at quarterback, throwing the ball 11 times, running the ball, and then just that defense?
I honestly don't think so. I think they're going to have to continue to take another step, continue to develop their offense, show more of what they're capable of, and get the ball into all the playmakers' hands. I think, again, when Georgia gets that in their mind and the run game is working, they're not going to be beat. But to win with a statement like they did last week, I think they're going to need to open it up a whole lot more.
Jeb Blazevich joining us here on ESPN Radio, former Georgia tight end. Jeb, we really appreciate the time, man. Enjoy Saturday. I know it's going to be an awesome game, 3:30 on CBS. No more top 10 noon kicks going forward. We got a bunch of 3:30 games coming up. Jeb, we appreciate the time, man.
Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Again, Jeb Blazevich joining us here on ESPN Radio. We got more to come after this.
There's a town in South Georgia where the water is clean. Live lollies grow tall, winters ain't mean. People who live there are the kind you can't trust. They all grew up riding the county.
Appreciate Jeb Blazevich hopping on the show with us there. Again, Second Down presented to you by the Uniform Source. Got so much more to dive into. I mean, guys, we're going to talk about it ad nauseum, and I'll give you the statement from the Jaguars coming up. But how rough do you think Urban Meyer's Sunday morning was? For those of you who haven't seen the videos, 2 verified videos of Urban Meyer at an establishment in Ohio that he owns surfaced over the weekend, where Urban Meyer was getting handsy and comfortable with someone not his wife. And since then, there's been a lot of quote-unquote closed-door meetings with the Jaguars. Again, I'll give you the full Jaguar statement from Shad Khan that they put out about an hour or so ago. But just that, because, listen, we've all been out, and then the next morning you wake up and you're like, I did what the night before?
Well, I think that's part of it too, right? I mean,
but I texted who the night before. But my question is, how rough do you think Urban Meyer's Sunday morning was? Because I have to imagine that was bad.
That had to be extremely.
Like, number one, hungover.
In a lot of different ways. Yeah.
Number one, hungover.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, you open that phone and you see those. I can't imagine what those notifications were like.
Right. Well, yeah, and that's the kind of morning. Well, I don't know normally what he has, right? If he has someone managing his own notifications, because I'm sure there's a lot flying through. But like, he's got to see all of them in a morning like that. No, that's had to be, for him, one of the worst mornings to wake up to. Then again, it feels worse, but I don't. It feels worse, but I don't feel bad for you. You know what I mean? I'll say it like that. It feels worse because he knows that's all on him. Like it's not one of those things where you're having a rough morning.
He does.
Yeah, it's like you're having a rough morning or whatever, and it's something you can't control. No. That's something you're 150% responsible for, and a lot of different things you're very responsible for, and you didn't handle it in a good way. So
I don't know that we
I
got the
can't
full
say
true story on this, because he initially came out and, like, when he apologized to the players, which apparently he never did like a full team meeting. It was just a room by room with the different player groups apologies. And it was like, oh, I was at my bar. There were some friends there, and they were grabbing me and trying to get me out on the dance floors. I should never put myself in that situation, but it wasn't what it looked like. You have that, and then you have the apology after the statement. It's like, bro, we have the video.
Yeah.
I got 2 things to say about this. One, if I was him waking up on Sunday morning, I wouldn't be too mad. You're still making millions. Put it like
you
that.
Hope?
Yeah. Well, you hope, but 2, also, I mean, that was after a loss. So that's the bad thing. You just lost to the Bengals, in which you was up.
You are a married head coach in the NFL.
See, that's the thing. I don't even get into all that. I'm worried about Urban Meyer, the head football coach. You just lost the game. You just came out before the season saying you don't like losing. And then now you've lost, 4 straight
apparently
games?
He dislikes losing so much that he had to seek comfort somewhere else.
Yeah. I mean, it's bad, though. And then you have the GM calling him out. You had a player call him out earlier today. It's pretty bad. So I don't understand that. As a coach, you lose a game on a Thursday. Maybe you spend a little time, because that's I guess the bar was his. He has like a share, he owns it, whatever. But you come back and you do team meetings and look at film on that Saturday and Sunday with your team. You just lost. You're 0-4.
And the thing that if you want to go with the football perspective of it, canceled the meetings on Monday.
Oh Lord,
because it's like either it was probably 2 things. It was just catastrophe, damage control.
Yeah.
As a player, how do you feel about that?
2, I mean, he's older, so like depending on how many cosmopolitans you had, maybe still nursing that headache a little bit on a Monday. So I mean,
absolutely.
But it's again, like Cam said, you're getting paid millions of dollars. But I think Cam is twofold. He is the head coach, and that obviously is intrinsically involved in football. But he is one of the faces of the organization.
That's true.
And I think we have to put different names on it, right? Like, imagine if Arthur Smith had been busted doing that. Right? It's just it's rough. it's a bad look for anybody. And the fact that you're off to, like you said, you haven't won a game yet. You had just lost. You didn't fly back with your team. And then that's all the football stuff. You're a married representative, one of the biggest representatives of our company, of our organization, of our team. You're a married representative of the team. And you're out doing that, acting a fool in a bar. I think that's a rough look. Shad Khan said, I have addressed this matter with Urban. Specifics of our conversations will be held in confidence. What I will say is his conduct last weekend was inexcusable. I appreciate Urban's remorse, which I believe is sincere. Now he must regain our trust and respect. That will require a personal commitment from Urban to everyone who supports, represents, or plays for our team. I am confident he will deliver.
We'll see.
Like, I mean, Cam, like honest to God, if a video surfaced of me doing that, I don't know that I'd have a job on Monday.
Oh, nah. You probably wouldn't. Yeah. Especially as an NFL coach, no. But, man, it's a circus. It's a circus at Jacksonville right now.
Right, that's the other thing I was going to say is it's not like he's had a clean track record coming into this. Even if you just want to start from when he took over as the head coach of the Jaguars.
Everywhere he goes, I love Urban Meyer, the coach, but everywhere he goes, it's something. Florida, Ohio State, and then he comes down. You give Tebow a chance to play. You have the.
I think Tebow's like the least of the.
He brought in somebody. Was it the special teams kind of
the strength and conditioning coach from Iowa?
Yeah, and he was beefing with some of the players,
who had recently been dismissed for racially charged accusations.
It's weird, man. And you want to come in here with a clean slate. It's the NFL, and you start off 0-4, just came off an L, and you doing this. I mean. It's not a good look.
And like I said, there is. You said there's a track record at the different institutions, and then everyone keeps bringing it up, like the 30 for 30 for that Florida football team while he was there was going to be nuts. Winning if it ever gets produced, but I don't know they'd be able to air it on ESPN. But then all the stuff that went on with the wide receiver coach at Ohio State and the domestic violence and not inherently covering it up, but also not putting his foot down and maybe call it covering it up, not sharing the information with police.
Yeah.
Like it's
not doing a lot about it. Yeah.
Correct. So, I mean, it's a track record. It's not like he came with a clean slate and this is the first time we see him slip up.
Right. Exactly. And that's the thing is, he's not the only one and we're not the only ones that know that. You're dealing with grown men who are trying, fighting for their livelihood.
Well, but a lot of grown men who make more money than you inside the organization.
Yeah, absolutely.
You are not the head guy. Like the biggest person in college football is the head coach. That's not the case in the NFL.
Well, you're not the head guy, and I know if I'm a football player of that organization right now, I'm looking at him, that's not my head guy either. Yeah. Like we heard from a player earlier today saying basically he didn't have a lot of credibility coming into the season. Now he's lost it.
Yeah, he had zero equity in the NFL. Yeah. He came in as an experiment.
Like we're 0-4 already. And you're doing that even on our weekends. Like we're out here trying to get better. Like even if we go out and celebrate whatever, like you look for more from your head coach, you look for a leader from your head coach and hunkering down and trying to get things right, not what we just saw.
Go ahead, Cam.
If he goes let's say he goes 2-15, 3-14. Does he have a job next year?
Yeah, if he's made it through this, I can't imagine anything short of another scandal is going to get him fired.
Man.
Like if he's made it through this, the roster is not good.
No, it's terrible.
The roster is not good.
I mean, but this is a roster.
Like you would literally double your win count if you win 2 games. So I mean,
that's true.
I don't think Urban Meyer is going to get fired this year.
I think it's a 3-4 year process with them. It's going to be a long time.
But I mean, if something else like this happens, I think what's more worrisome than anything, if you're looking at it from the business perspective, because the worrisome thing for me is just the act itself, especially from a married guy. And a guy who it appears that the young lady in the video is about half his age, if not a third his age.
Yeah. Well, you have the video and then you have the pictures and stuff,
right?
And that's the other thing is there's multiple people.
I think it's the lack of awareness. If you are going to have your personal life and you're going to do whatever you do in your personal life, that's fine. Have your personal life things going on. You have to be situationally aware that you're a public figure and that cameras are everywhere.
Yep.
You can't be doing stuff like that. Like none of it has come out. None of it is criminal.
Right. And I think that's the interesting role and part.
It's the morality
we all play in this. Yeah.
It's the morality and it's the how you represent your company. Again,
gotta know who you are.
And yeah, if you're a face of an organization, you're out doing something like that. There's a lot of companies where you wouldn't be working for them right now.
Yep.
And I think that's a rough look for Urban Meyer. I feel bad for his family, and I feel bad for the girl in the video as well for having to deal with all of that, because now she's front and center in the media because some creepy 60-year-old dude was drunk and hitting on her.
Yep.
That's where we're at.
Yep. And
Jaguars football.
I mean, let's be honest. Who knows? Like, if they have any idea, like a lot of people in that bar could have had no idea who he was in the first place. I don't know.
PJ.
Oh, they know Urban
PJ.
Meyer. Yeah.
You're in Ohio.
Yeah, but,
they know him.
You don't.
And he
I don't
owns
know,
the
dude.
bar too.
Yeah,
PJ,
sure,
you're
that's
in
fine.
Ohio.
Someone could have said that's the owner of the bar over there, and then they're like, "Oh, really? He's hitting on me." Like, whatever.
Nah,
That was he was a coach of Ohio. What, 4 or 5 years ago? Who knows?
I'm not saying she knows, but you said there's a chance people didn't know he's like, no, there was at least half that bar knew who that was.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
if I walk in the
alright.
bar,
Well, then there's
I
another half
know
that
who
doesn't.
Urban Meyer
But it's
is.
like
Possibly.
like Kirby Smart
That's all
walks
I'm
into
saying.
any bar in Georgia. At
Oh,
least half the people in there know who it is.
Sure.
I mean,
You're
you had
still saying
TJ
half,
There's
though.
a great story from Auburn where TJ Finley went to Longhorns
Mhm.
after the game when they beat Georgia State, and he had that last second drive. Went to Longhorns because that's where he goes with his parents after
Yeah.
games. And the hostess was like, "It's going to be an hour." And then one of the other ones comes up and goes, "No, you see him right now. That's our quarterback."
There's also what was it, last weekend. What there was a picture of Mick Jagger at a bar, and no one
fair.
knew who he was. He was just hanging out by himself. Are you
That's
kidding
fair,
me?
but
I
it's,
don't even really like. Not even that big of a fan, and I'm like, dude, what in the world? He should be crowded by like at least 10 to 15 people.
Maybe they'd already
I
gotten
don't
that
know.
out of the way.
Maybe they did. Who knows?
Hmm.
Either way, I'm just saying.
I will say it is interesting seeing celebrities in public because you have to kind of do a double take because they
Right.
look completely different in real life than they do on the screen. Like,
Yeah.
and then I got Owen Wilson at a bar,
That's pretty
and it
cool.
took me a
Yeah.
second. I kind of had to like keep looking down. I was like, "That's," and my friends were like, "Nah, that's not." I was like, "That's him." He had a beard, but I saw that nose, man.
Yeah.
I knew it was him.
Just
Me
walk up
me
and be
Owen,
like, man, wow, and see what he says.
I wasn't that big of a jerk. DJ.
See what he says, you know?
I just said, "Big fan of your work," and he was like, "Wow." No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's fantastic.
He said, "No, I appreciate that." Like, that's
Yeah.
where we're at. Also, met Arthur Smith.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
met Arthur. No, not Arthur Smith. Mike Smith, the other Smith that used to
Oh.
coach the Falcons.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Falcons,
yeah,
Mike
yeah.
Smith.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Man, you're shorter than I thought you'd be." I figure like standing on the sidelines next to all those behemoths that
Right.
he'd be just like, I was like, he'd be a regular size guy. I was like, "Mike, what's going on down there, big guy?"
As a short person, can confirm. We love to hear that.
He's
Yeah.
about your size.
Yeah.
No, we love to hear that.
Yeah, we love.
You're
to hear
actually
that.
a lot shorter than I thought you would be, and you're. I
Yeah,
mean, I
that-
already thought you were short.
Sometimes I get offended, but I remember in college I met some girls.
Cam, you're gonna make PJ mad because you are significantly taller than PJ, so you can't be
It
talking
is
about
what-
being short.
It is what it
I
is,
met
man.
some girls in college, and they finally see me for the first time. They always
Oh,
see me over
no.
social media.
Yeah,
They're like, "We thought you was tall." I'm
Oh,
like,
no.
I'm like, okay, you know
exactly.
what? I'm done talking to y'all for the
That's
rest
because
of the night.
you take those
Oh,
low
man.
angle pictures and it makes you look taller than you are.
I
Cam.
don't even
You're
try.
out
I
here,
take
you're out here
nice
thirst
pictures.
trapping and catfishing.
Oh no. If anybody wants to know, I'm 5'7". 5'7".
There's no
There
height
you go.
shaming on this show.
Yeah, I'm okay. Like,
Yeah, we'll leave that.
I like my size, man. I like being.
Oh man, I'm
It's
not
cool.
even gonna go there. We got to go to break.
Yeah, we
Right?
do.
Yeah.
We'll come back. We'll talk more about PJ's height after this. Second Down on ESPN Radio is presented to you by the Uniform Source. PJ, Kentucky, I don't know if you saw this. I don't know if we can talk about it enough. Kentucky beat Florida.
Yes.
On Saturday.
Yes.
I just want to say that again. Kentucky beat Florida on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
You see who ran back that block kick?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wayne County's own Trevin Wallace.
Oh, yeah.
With a big old kick return.
Man, it's great to see.
I think absolutely
Coastal
zero
Georgia guys
people
doing well.
I think it's absolutely zero people who saw him play in high school were surprised when he housed that.
Oh, no doubt.
Dude was a monster.
Yeah, everything he was doing there at Wayne County, as you mentioned, what he was doing it in a big way. So
running back, tight end, wide receiver,
yeah,
defensive end,
he's a monster,
middle linebacker.
Obviously, as you saw, very athletic as well. So big to see Kentucky get a big victory. Will Levis kind of stay out of the way as much as possible and not mess anything up.
Kentucky had like 200 yards in that game and they won.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. It's the most Kentucky way to win a big game like that.
Just sometimes it's just like, just don't let the offense go out there. Just let the defense do stuff.
Yeah, and defensively doing work too. I mean, a couple Coastal Georgia guys on that defense.
I hope they win this weekend because that would be an undefeated matchup in Sanford Stadium next Saturday.
Nah, they're not winning this week.
Who they got this week?
LSU.
What's LSU?
So now, basically, since what happened with Arkansas, Kentucky's just going to take their spot in the 4-team SEC playoff.
Correct, and I'm absolutely looking forward to it. 3 and Out coming up next with BJ Bennett, Ben Troop, and Kevin Thomas.